Is the mission impossible that cannot be topped, and we are excited to welcome the producer and star, the incomparable Mr. Tom Cruise. Center stage. We'll do a short photo call. Let's begin with the cameras on your left side, please. Thank you. Now center. Great. Thank you. And to the right. Right side, please. Thank you. One last call for the center, please. Straight ahead. All right. Thank you so much. We'll take just a moment to bring up some chairs to the stage so that we can begin the press conference right away. Thank you, Tom. So, Tom, we were here actually 2 years ago. You said you'd be back. You kept your word, yes, as always. How does it feel to be back in Korea for the 12th time, which is amazing?
It's amazing. It's absolutely beautiful. And I just want to thank you all for the very warm welcome. I love being here. It's an extraordinary moment, to be here with this film, a film that we've been working on, between Dead Reckoning, this, and Top Gun Maverick. It's really been 7 years for Christopher McQuarrie and I, and our cast has been working on it for 5 years. So it's a great honor for me to be here.
Wonderful, and it's an honor to have you back.
Thank you.
Now, you've said that you feel privileged to be able to entertain the audiences. Can you tell us a little bit about why that is? And also, how is the way you do it through the Mission movies so special to you?
Just making movies is very special, period. It's been my lifelong dream. I remember being 4 years old and wanting to make movies and wanting to travel the world and make films in there. And I remember making my first movie, Taps, first starring role when I was 18 years old, and being there laying in bed and dreaming about what my life is going to be like and what I want it to be like. And I remember thinking, I'm just going to dedicate everything I have to cinema and storytelling and learn as much as I can. And hopefully I'll be able to do this the rest of my life, because I absolutely love it. It's not what I do, it's who I am. And so I'm very grateful. There hasn't been a day that I have not felt privileged, a day that I have not felt very grateful to be able to do what I do. And thank you for allowing me to entertain you. It is an honor. Thank you.
That's wonderful, and thank you for entertaining us for so many years. And now it has all led to this. So can you please share with us a little bit more in depth about what you have learned throughout your career, and also how that has helped make this movie so impactful?
I tell you, what I really dedicate myself to is becoming competent at everything that I do. So the first time I was on a movie set, I basically went and I didn't go to film school. Film school was me studying movies, looking at who did what, and then when I got onto a film set, I would just go to each department and I studied each department. And whether it was wardrobe, hair, makeup, camera, production design, and producing. And so I just started studying those movies, and then I was able to make another movie and I studied that. And then eventually as I started studying the studio system. And then what I do is that I'll learn a skill and then I'll apply that skill to storytelling. So if you follow my career from Taps all the way through, you can see different abilities that I've gained. I remember Legend, I did a movie, a film there where I did my first underwater sequence, and then you can see my movies. I'm saying, how can I do the underwater sequence better? So I've done many, many underwater sequences, and you can see how this has led to the Final Reckoning, the submarine sequence. And McHugh and I, we've been working together for 19 years now, and it's the same thing. I try to take everything that I learned from one movie and apply it to the next, and apply it to the next, and apply it to the next. And McHugh is very much the same way. So that's what we do. We try to constantly improve our storytelling ability. You see that I learned how to fly airplanes, I fly jets, I fly airplanes, I fly helicopters, I race cars and motorcycles, all kinds. If I want to sing in a movie, I'll learn how to sing, and then I apply it to the cinema or dance. It's been, and also I love history and I love to travel. So that is my life. Like I'm constantly, I'll go to places and be able to work in them, not just be a tourist, but be able to work within the culture and celebrate those cultures. So that is my dream. So that's why, you know, as a kid, I dreamed of coming to Korea. So to say that it's my 12th time, and it's my 12th time being here, bringing a film here, it's really amazing to me.
That's wonderful to hear. And speaking of those incredible action sequences, the series is known for its jaw-dropping stunts, but The Final Reckoning pushes that even further, where it's the biggest practical movie ever made.
Yes.
So our question to you is, why is it so important to you to always make something that's bigger and better?
Well, I always hope to just make it better. McHugh and I have a thing at the end of every movie we make. You know, I turn to him and I'm like, we could do better. You know, I'm not someone who ever, I'm very happy with, I set a goal for myself and I want to attain that goal. But there's always a new goal. There's always another mountain, always something that we've learned that we can then take it to another level. Even, I'm not just even saying stunts, but just storytelling and structure of stories and characters. So that's how I feel. There's always another mountain, and we always set a new goal for ourselves.
And you know, the wing walking on the biplane sequence, it is absolutely incredible, very scary to watch. And
very scary to do.
Yeah, I'm sure it
fun,
was.
though.
And I hear that it was actually a particular childhood dream of yours. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Many of these things, like McHugh and I will go back and forth, and our whole relationship is kind of just stories and one story to the next. And I remember seeing wing walking when I was a little kid. And I always wanted to do that. I remember being on the airplane, the side of the airplane. I was on an airplane the first time that I flew. And when I get in an airplane, I was 6 years old, and I would think about what's it like being on the wing. You know, I'm in the plane, but my imagination's like, I wonder how long I can hang on to that wing, and what would that be like.
That's actually where you want to sit.
Yeah, that's where I want to be. And I remember, you know, we did that. McHugh put me on the side of that airplane. He was joking. He was like, "Hey, do you want to do this on the side of the, you know, the A400?" I was like, "Yeah, that sounds great." We did that. And then to design the sequence, because I fly airplanes and aerobatic airplanes, there's something that I always wanted to do and to figure out. But look, it took years to be able to figure it out. And we had to go back to Africa twice. It was very, very complex, physically, story-wise, developing cameras, developing the planes, developing a style of flying the aircraft. The wing walking itself was very, very intense every day. Very, very intense. I can't really describe how intense it was. So that it just takes time, and you have to, you know, strive for it. The things that I'll do is I'll set a goal for myself, a task or an ability or an overall goal. So you write the goal down, and then what you do is I write a list of all the things, the steps that I need to take to be able to attain that goal. And that list will change as time goes on, because then it tells me the things that I need to learn, or, you know, the things that I know, and the steps that I need to take to be able to do it well. And that's what it was like with this wing walking. It was very, you know, we had to pick the airplanes, and then it's not only just what airplane's going to look good, you know, and this airplane, the Stearman, is an 80-year-old airplane. I'd flown it before. And then we had to evaluate what is the aircraft capable of doing, and then how can I physically move along this aircraft. The wind coming over the airplane, we're traveling at over 100 miles an hour, 140 miles an hour, and I don't know if you've ever driven a car, but just stick your face out of the window at 140 miles an hour. And now picture an entire body and me moving throughout and around that aircraft at those speeds. It was quite intense.
That's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it was wild.
Thank you for the opportunity. My question is for you, Tom. So there are rumors that this will be the very last installment of the Mission Impossible franchise. So is that true, or do we have a chance of seeing more of Ethan Hunt? And the second part is, when I was watching the film, it felt like everything was sort of coming together to closure for the film. What does this film mean to you personally?
This film is basically, I want the audience to enjoy the film. So the audience has to go see that. It is a culmination of the last 30 years of the franchise. So that's what this is, and I don't want to give anything away for audiences. But I love making movies, and it's my great pleasure to be able to make them and to entertain an audience. That's what it means to me. I love it. Absolutely, I love making movies.
Thank you. We'll take the next
I love
question.
making these films.
Amen.
It shows.
It definitely shows. We'll take the
guys
next
do too.
question. My question goes to you, Tom. You've been with the Mission Impossible series for over 30 years, and you were a man in your 30s, and now you're in your 60s. And I want to ask you, as an actor, what does aging and having more years to your name, what kind of new charms, learning, or new insight does that bring to you as a performer?
Wait, you're in your 60s? What?
It's a rumor.
No,
He ages backwards. What are you talking
What
about?
is an age anyway?
Immortal.
I know Mission Impossible was the very first film that I ever produced. And as I said, I just try to constantly take whatever I learned and put it in the next one. And so, and still every single day I'm learning. Every single day, I'm learning something and setting new goals, and it just gets even more exciting. And that's what I have to say. It's just, you look at the things that we're doing now is even more challenging and more extreme, and we're pushing even harder. So it's those kinds of things, when I look at all the skills that I have attained, and I'm constantly trying to improve those skills and just apply it to storytelling. And it's really, an exceptional privilege to be able to do this.
Well said. I think it just makes everything get better and better. My question is for you, Tom. So I really enjoyed watching the film yesterday, and while I was watching it, even though I knew that Tom was going to be here in Korea, that you made it out of everything alive and well, I couldn't help but get extremely tense, worrying about what's going to happen to Ethan Hunt. You have done, you fight in all
Thank you
different
very much.
elements, in the air, in water, everywhere. Were there a particular moments or a particular sequence where even you thought to yourself, I might not make it this time? Or if isn't to that degree, you were really, really scared. Second part of my question is, you talked about setting a goal, and you like to list the things that you want to get to it and achieve that. And the fans, all they want for you is just to see you without any accidents, live a long and happy life.
Thank you.
What are your personal goals now, whether it's in your personal life or in your career?
First of all, I enjoy the challenges and the pressure of doing what I do. I do it in my personal life, and then I apply it also to storytelling. And listen, there are many times when we're trying to figure the story out. We're trying to figure the sequences out. It's not like it's on a paper and then we can go out and do it. It is exploring the unknown, and creating something is, it is that, where are we going from here? And so those moments, I enjoy the pressures of that. I enjoy those moments of sometimes, like, we don't have the answers. You wake up in the morning, and I don't know what's going to happen that day. When we get into the aerial sequence, every day in Africa, we get up, and it took a lot of ability to confront it. The sequence was more difficult than I thought it would be. Both these sequences in the film, I knew it was going to be a challenge. And so when you have these things, and the thing is that we're responsible for it. I am responsible for it. I wanted to do this. I also created it, and with him, he created it. So there are moments where it's like, we're here because we wanted to be here. And yes, there are moments that we knew we were doing very, very extreme things, and it was uncomfortable, and sometimes, it was very uncomfortable. But it was always exhilarating, exciting, and I like that feeling. The other thing is, I have many, many goals personally, many. There's always another thing to learn, a new mountain to climb, another skill to improve or achieve, another story to tell. There's always another story. And I remember when I was very young and I had tremendous success, And some person said to me, I remember, like, where do you go from here? You know, I did.
This was after Born on the 4th
Yeah,
of
born on
July.
the 4th of July, I'd done like, you know, born on the 4th of July, a guy like very, you know, guy who's very well known, head of some studio, and he was like, you're like, why don't you just retire now? What are you going to do? I was like, I'm just warming up, you know, and that's what I think what it is that that's how I feel. I'm just warming up. And that's how I feel about life, personally, professionally, that I'm just going to take everything I learned and put it in the next, and put it in the next, and put it in the next. And so personally, I have so many goals. There's so much that I want to create, and we have so many, many movies in front of us. So it never ends. I basically work 7 days a week, and it's my dream. It's my passion.